focus on is that when you have this metabolic engine, if you will, churning along really good and efficiently, that can only happen if we preserve the muscle. Nothing else increases your basal metabolic rate in your body as good as having good and healthy muscle. There's a third area that we are focusing our TR90 on, and that is the control of your desire to eat. And that desire to eat rests in the brain, and in a special part of the brain, in the hypothalamus, if you will. So, and if we can somehow control your appetite, and we can somehow make you feel fuller or more, have a sense of satiety with some of our products in TR90 system, then you will be establishing and be able to incorporate a healthy eating plan in your overall lifestyle. So those are the three key ways we think TR90 is working. I mentioned LifeGen, and they have been very key players in our TR90 development over the last 2 years or so. In fact, if you remember, when we told you about the LifeGen scientists, we told you about how they have been very active in the area of caloric restriction, in terms of how they are able to use their genetic understanding or their genetic tools and technology to study the mechanisms of caloric restriction and how they manage to impact the aging process. So all these things are coming together, and we have been using those insights from our LifeGen scientists to help us develop TR90. The way that we do it then is look at those far left panels that we call heat maps. Excuse me. All the way to the left is what we like to establish with our TR90 system, and that is to create a heat map that looks like the panel on the left. The one on the slightly over to the right of it, or next to it, is what would exist in a tissue, in adipose tissue, if you will. And that is not a genetic or gene expression profile that is optimal. The colors, the way that it's being distributed among the different genes relative to one on the left, you can see is a very different gene expression profile. So what we do during our studies then is to evaluate a variety of ingredients. Here I'm just showing a sample, and there's about 5 ingredients here, and try and see which particular ingredient could give us a gene expression profile that matches or approximates that all the way to the left. And what we can see is the one ingredient 4. That gave us, when we tested that particular ingredient, that gave us a gene expression profile that if I put it close to the one on the left, it looks rather similar. So that's the ingredient that we have selected as one of the ingredients that we are going to use in a TR90 supplement. So conceptually then, that's the approach and that's the technology that we use for selecting and gleaning the most optimal ingredients for the TR90 supplements. While the supplements have been developed to the best of our scientific knowledge to address certain aspects of how to maintain a healthy weight, there is one element that we cannot deny and we cannot actually put away. And that is the types of foods that you should be having in your eating plan or in your daily eating plan. The most important type of food that you should be eating should come from proteins. These proteins are very important to build muscle because those are the only types of foods that can actually build muscle. Nothing else can do that. While you're eating the proteins to build muscle, that increase in lean muscle leads to a collateral benefit, and that is it increases fat burning. Simple carbohydrates are not good, as we all recognize, and we continue to avoid that. Complex carbs, on the other hand, are something that you should be eating as well as part of a healthy diet. Because complex carbs do not trigger this fat storing signal or the fat storing capacity as quickly as simple carbs would. So when you think about the food choices, you should be thinking proteins most of the time, fruits and vegetables, and less of carbs. So TR90, when you look at it, it's not about a single supplement. It's about a whole holistic approach to healthy weight management. It is not just about weight loss. It is about body composition. It is about a total focus on fat loss. The protein science also teaches us, and this is another insight that we have gained over the last year and a half, is the fact that it's not just how much protein you eat, it's how and when you eat that protein is also critical. Because, for example, in the morning, during a breakfast, you have just woken up, you're getting ready to rev up your metabolic engine. The only way to do that is really to make sure that you have some protein in your breakfast meal as well. Because all these benefits will come when you have an even consumption of proteins over the course of the day. Here's our first TR90 supplement. This supplement is called Jumpstart. Since it's a 90-day program, you take Jumpstart only for 15 days at the very beginning of the program, and then you follow and you start all three supplements at the beginning of on day 0, but you stop taking Jumpstart after 15 days because that we find from our studies, those 2 weeks are sufficient to reset your gene expression and to prep your body up for maintaining the weight that you're going to lose, especially the fat that you're going to lose over the next 90 days. The second supplement is Control, and here is I mentioned about the brain, and here is a supplement that can help all of you to make sure that you feel full and you don't feel as hungry so that you don't eat as much. One of the things that we find with most diets in general would be the fact that people feel miserable when they are on that diet. And the misery leads to only one outcome, and that is as soon as they get off the diet, they start eating again. A lot. That's not a good thing. We're hoping that with the TR90 system, that is not going to happen, and this control supplement will help that. And finally, the third supplement is the FIT supplement, and we have ingredients that we have screened and evaluated that we have found to be effective to rev up that metabolic engine. Okay, it's going to help you burn more fat, it's going to help you preserve the lean muscle, and the use of this FIT supplement in the overall 3 supplement system is they are all complementary to each other. I've told you about the protein, and here's the shake. Here's the regular TR90 trim shake. It comes in 2 flavors, the vanilla and the chocolate version, and it has the highest quality protein possible that we have put into this shake. It tastes good, and as I mentioned, when you take this shake as part of your regular eating plan, it will help you to consume sufficient amount of protein to preserve that lean muscle. However, there are folks here who may or may not be able or would be interested in taking this regular protein shake So we sort of thought that perhaps it's a good idea to bring you a green shake as well. So this is the vegetarian protein-based shake. It's obviously it's called green shake because it's all that green stuff in there, right? So, and same amount of proteins per serving, 15 grams per serving. And as you can see here, if you're lactose intolerant, this is a shake you could be taking, and it's gluten-free and soy-free. So, now, there's one other snippet that you should know relating to this particular green shake. Vegetable proteins in general miss one important amino acid that is absolutely required for building muscle. This amino acid is called leucine, and what you don't appreciate, and you should, is the fact that in green shake, the reason why I'm sort of comfortable that it's comparable to the regular shake is the fact that we have added significant amounts of leucine, this amino acid that's required for muscle building, back into the green shake. So it's a complete shake, and it's 100% similar to the one that people will be taking. So the eating plan is simple. Is choose the two proteins. Here are some examples. The protein source obviously could be the shakes, plus other things like fish and lean meat. The snacks you can eat twice a day. The snacks, fruits and vegetables. And already in the U.S. you have the Element Bar. And then finally, you should be eating one meal. And that meal consists of two proteins and the things listed there. The things to avoid are really pretty self-evident, right, guys? I don't have to repeat that. I mean, you shouldn't be eating fast foods, fried foods, processed, white, simple carbs, and so on. So those are the things that I don't think it needs a lot of education on. So if you stick to this simple, straightforward eating plan, and if you maintain it even after you finish the TR90 system, I think you will find that all the things that TR90 has done in your body will be preserved, and they will continue to work for you. We have done the clinical studies. This is most likely by the time we finish and launch TR90 in October, this will be one of the best and most well-studied weight management system in the industry. Okay? We have already finished this first open label study, if you will, where we have shown significant decrease just in fat and not in muscle. We have no negative impact on muscle. In fact, in certain individuals, we actually saw a slight increase in lean muscle mass. Okay. You can see the visible results, and they have reduced cravings, and you won't feel as hungry with the TR90. Those are reports that we have gotten back from this first clinical study. And we are continuing with a second study with over 100 people now, where we will have some of the results available by October to share with you. And again, we are hoping it will corroborate what we see in the first clinical study. You can see it's a wide range of individuals with a wide range of weights and so on. And we are going to look at gene expression in these folks, and we'll be able to share those results with you by October. What is interesting in this particular study is the fact that we are going to look at gene expression of these people before and after TR90, and also while looking at their fat loss and see whether we can actually confirm that their muscle will be improved or increased in the presence of TR90 products. So, I've shared quite a bit of science with you, and I think with TR90 the results coming in are really very exciting to me, because I've never seen a weight management system where you can have a total loss of fat, 100%, all the weight loss is associated with fat, with no impact on muscle.
Wow.
So, but to better show you an
Can you say
example
that? That's huge.
of somebody who had been taking TR90 over the last few months, I'd like to show you a video of this person.